give people a chance to get on. We play a little music.
Of course. You got nothing faster? Like something with a bop. Something. Yeah.
This is man.
They need to turn the heat on it. I mean, I'm in the one place in the lab where they don't got the heat on.
Oh,
At least it doesn't feel like it. So,
did you start another job? Because I don't remember you.
well, yeah, back in July, but yeah,
Oh, okay.
started that. I started another job in grad school. So,
Oh,
yeah.
you're in school.
Hmm?
You in school?
Yeah. I'm getting a PhD.
Oh,
We're
okay. Awesome.
trying to.
Awesome. Congratulations, brother.
Thanks.
Know how that is.
Yeah.
Thank
But
you
I'm
so
doing some of my work at the hospital, and it's just yeah. Right now, I'm doing finishing up some papers and doing some more research for a project, and I'm here on a Saturday.
So thank you so much, man. I feel
Mhm.
honored that you took time out to come on here with us. You got all that going
Mhm.
on. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Well, I feel honored that you gave me an excuse to take a break for about an hour or whatever. So,
But I guess that's one way to look at it, man.
I guess so. Mhm.
That's one way to look at it. Let me go ahead and tag some people and then we'll get ready to get started.
Right back. Let me shut the door too. Mhm.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for hopping on. Thank you for tuning in. Once you hop on, just make a comment and let us know that you're watching. Let us know that you are in the building. We're getting ready to start our discussion about this marriage, honey. Couples month is all month. This month we had our last awesome guest on it, but tonight we have a new guest on with us tonight, and then we're just gonna give everybody a chance to come on, and then we'll give him a chance to introduce himself. But he is no stranger to single saving dating. He's been on here a couple of times, and we really appreciate the brother. Anytime we ask him to come on, he always comes on. So we are very thankful for that. Thank you, brother. We
No problem.
appreciate
Thanks
that.
for having me. Yeah, thanks for having me again. Appreciate it. I'm always happy to help. All of my introductions about. Am I introducing myself now again?
No, hold on a minute. We just give him a chance to get it. He's like, introduce myself again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we always want you to reintroduce yourself because we always having new people join and new people tune
Mm-hmm.
in, and so give everybody a chance to get on.
You got your
Try
own
not
theme song. Look at that. That's cool. Everybody loves the track for you.
What is going on with my? Don't say nothing because I know how you are about these certain phones. But guess what, brother? Well, guess what?
What you got?
Look.
What you got?
Now, I still got my old one too, though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh Lord, I remember the last time you were trying to Joan.
Yeah,
Joan,
there's a lot of haters out there. There's a lot of haters. A lot of haters out there.
you were hating, brother.
I'm not one of them. Y'all hate, y'all hating on the Apple, on the iPhone.
Yeah.
We're not. That's a separate. That's a separate show. Still waiting on that conversation. Hmm.
I love it. Hello, everyone. Once you hop on, go ahead, tag and share, make a comment, let us know that you're watching and that you are ready for tonight's discussion. I know I am. I'm excited. Let me make sure we're in the right place, Dante, because it ain't coming up on my. It's not showing that we're going live on my phone.
This single saved and Dave.
Oh, yes, we are. So come on in, everyone. Once you hop on, I guess I'm just gonna have to share it. Come on in, tag and share, make a comment. Let us know that you're watching. Let us know that you are in the building. Let me go ahead and say my spiel that I always say. Hello, hello, everyone. Thank you for hopping on to see the Sadie Daddy, where we give you, say it with me, tools that you can use. Our motto is not about what we did yesterday, 2 days ago, or 5 years ago. It's about what we're gonna do moving forward. I always say it takes two to make a thing go right, just like it takes two to make a thing go wrong. So if we're gonna get this thing right, we want to put down the pointing of the finger. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that tonight. Okay, so single dating dating is not just for women. No, it is not. So ladies, help me invite the male counterparts on into this here live. Tag it, tag them, tag them, tag it, tag 'em. So we're about to get into this. I'm gonna go ahead and let my brother introduce himself. Like I said, he is no stranger here at Single Say today, but we're gonna let him introduce himself again. As always, we are so thankful and grateful that he is willing to hop on and join us. I'm super excited about tonight's topic. So go ahead and introduce yourself, brother. We're gonna get started.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate you having me back. I'm Dante. Originally from the great old state of North Carolina, but I'm out here on the West Coast in Seattle. And I'm happy to be back. I have been married. I'm a married man, been married for about 9 years. No, not about, over 9 years. Have a wonderful little 6-year-old boy, and I am loving life, and I'm thanking God for my life each and every day. And that's a little bit about me. I'm a Leo. I like long walks on the beach. I'm picky about what I eat in my foods. Even though I'm from the South, I don't like grits. I know y'all gonna be mad, but y'all get over it.
Yeah, you don't like grits. What's
I
wrong
don't care.
with
I don't care
you?
what y'all say. I'm an oatmeal guy. And then, yeah, actually, I don't like, which that's another subject. And you wonder how I got married, not liking grits and greens, but that's the secret. That's the secret.
You don't like greens
I
either?
don't like greens either. You keep it. You keep
Oh
it.
my God.
But yeah, that's.
Oh Lord.
Hope I didn't
No
make people
wonder we
angry,
bump.
but I'm happy to
No,
talk
no
about why
wonder
I'm
we
right
bump
or
heads.
wrong anytime. So.
No wonder we bump heads when you come on here. You don't eat grits and greens. That's what
No, all right.
it is. But anyway, I'm just joking. Thank you
Mm-hmm.
for coming and joining
Yeah.
us again tonight. Tonight we've been having couples come on and share
Mm-hmm.
about marriage, and we try to paint like a realistic picture here about marriage. And so what are your thoughts about marriage? And what are your thoughts about it in today's climate as well? Because
Mm-hmm.
everybody's talking about marriage now. Everybody's talking about relationships now. Everybody's giving relationship advice. And
Mm-hmm.
then you got the blue pill, the red pill, and all this other stuff throwing in there. What's your thoughts about marriage, just all in general, as
All in
with
general.
all
Yeah.
that's going on right now?
Yeah. No problem. Well, I think the whole concept is of marriage has changed a little bit, in my opinion. Like, there's a lot of talk about the sanctity of marriage and what it means, and I think there's a lot of people who just think that they can, I don't know, rush into it a little bit or just put a title on it. Most people, they're more concerned about having a wedding than a marriage, or they want that party. If they want to have that big party reception, but marriage takes effort. It's a long commitment, and nowadays, with everything at everybody's fingertips, they just kind of rush into it without really being prepared. Yeah, but that's my thing about it. I still think it's a beautiful institution. It may be for some people, it may be not, but I think it's a great institution. But it takes work to keep it going. But those are my general thoughts. I think it's a lot different today than it was. I don't want to date myself here and sound old, but back then. But yeah, those are my thoughts on it. It's still wonderful though.
Oh, I'm glad you said that, brother.
Hmm.
I'm serious. Like, I really am glad to hear you say that
Hmm.
because you don't get that all, all the time from people
I think
that's married.
it's more than just making a commitment. I think that if you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, then you shouldn't really have a problem with making that commitment and putting it on paper. And that can come in any forms, any form of marriage. I support, as long as you make the commitment to each other. But if that's the one for you, then that's the one for you. Make that commitment. Put it on paper. Sign something. Make sure you can put somebody on your insurance. Make sure you can possibly share an account. You can have other accounts now. Don't get it twisted, but you can have one together. So yeah.
You hit on something, and I'm gonna ask you
Hmm.
about this
Sure.
because I hear people say this too. Oh, marriage ain't nothing but a piece of paper.
Mm,
You don't need that piece of paper. And I kept
mm,
hearing you say, put it on paper, put it on paper. So that kind of triggered, like, I'm hearing something totally different out here in these streets. Like, you don't got to
mm,
get married. Marriage ain't nothing but a piece of paper and all this and that. And they downplaying that part of
mhm.
putting it on the paper. What's your thoughts on that?
No, I mean, it is, but I think a paper is a representation. I mean, if we're talking in, terms here, making something legal, making it on paper. Because if you say, oh, we've been together, for whatever, okay. When something happens, or if you got to get insurance or something like that, there's a legal document that says, okay, I've committed to this person, under whatever laws or whatever like that. I think it's more than just a paper. Like, you're signing things, you're together. There's something that says you're together, and it's just an extra step. There's a lot of things that you can do. It's all in the details. There's a lot of little things that you can do to really show your commitment to another person and that you're serious. And I just think,
Wow.
well, it's not the only thing, of course, obviously. I think it's one of the things. It's in the small details and the things that you do to really commit to that person. Like, you can say it
Wow.
all day and they can believe it, but do you have papers? Like my wife, we love each other, but we also have papers on each other. So at the end of the day,
Wow.
I chose to make that decision, and so does she. So at some point, it doesn't have to be fancy. It's just a commitment, a sign of commitment. Other than the rings, it's just something that more solidifies it. It's like gathering evidence. I'm gonna put my PhD hat on for a second. Gathering evidence. What makes your data more robust? What makes people really believe you? The fact that you live in
Wow.
together, or the fact that your names are both on a mortgage and a lease, and you can go to the courthouse and look up documents and da da da. It also is a form of accountability, because you get
Wow.
held accountable to each other, legally, professionally, whatever you want to call it. So it's more than just a paper. It's what that paper represents. So that's my opinion.
Wow. That's awesome, brother. Like, I love that. I love that answer, by the way. Like, that's awesome. You're the first person I heard say that like that.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, I'm not lying, because right now it's being downplayed so
Mm-hmm.
much. Like, you don't need that paper. Paper don't mean anything. But to hear
Mm-hmm.
you say all of that, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you
I
for
mean, what's
sharing
keeping
that.
you from walking out the door at any time if you don't got the documents or whatever? I mean, don't get me wrong; it is not the main thing or the only thing, but it's all in your details to show your real sign of commitment to somebody.
Wow, man, I hadn't even thought about it like that. Like, seriously, I'm for real.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. I love that. So how long should you date, you think, before you start talking about marriage? Because I know I got a lot of friends, and as soon as they date one time and they ready to go down the aisles, and they don't like going back, like you were saying,
I
you,
wouldn't
you
condone
really
that.
don't know each other.
Yeah. That's a good question. Now, here's where I'm gonna contradict myself, and I'm gonna tell you when we get into a story. But first, in my personal opinion, for me, it was 3 years. Okay, I think that 3 years is a good long time if you can sustain a relationship for a minimum of 3 years. That of course, everybody's situation is different. For me, it actually ended up being 2.5.
Wow.
So but I did know that she was the one, and so. And it was funny how she was like, "Listen, I'm gonna need to know something by the next Martin Luther King Day, or what are we doing here?" And I was just like, "All right, whatever." So it was 6 months, and I went ahead and proposed. But I would say a good amount of time is 3 years. I think anything under that, you really need to know a person before. And I think it's a small price to pay. 3 years is a small price to pay if you're willing to trade that in for the rest of your lives and children and bills and anxiety and stress. Because you want to try to also live with each other for a little bit if you can. But I would say 3 years. If you can show that you can be in a serious relationship with ups and downs over the course of at least 3 years, then I would say you'd be ready for marriage. Because people change over time. You need a good sample size. So I like 3 years personally. I think that's a good
You think 3 years? I always
one.
say a year.
Mm.
I always say a year. I said I think, especially at the age that I'm at, that's probably what I'm
Mm.
talking
Age has a
about.
lot to do with it. Age has a
Yeah.
lot to do with it. Yeah.
If I think within that 12, that first 12 months,
Mhm.
you should have a good idea, general idea where this person is, if y'all can get along, if y'all
Mhm.
matching up, if you're not matching up. Here at Single Saturday Dating, we don't say shack up. We don't
Mhm.
encourage people to shack up or having sex outside of marriage or those types of things, because what the Bible say. And so But I always say around a year.
Mm.
I think you should know pretty much if you want to
Mhm.
continue with that person or not.
It depends. I
Um,
mean, have you been married before though, or because age is a factor? That's true. Like if you're, I would say if you're in your, I don't know, mid 30s or higher, maybe it's a less amount of time because you know what you want. But if you're younger and you consider making that move and you haven't been married before, you probably want a little more time to figure it out. Like if I'm 25, I probably need a little more time than I would to figure it out at like 37, you know? So that's a good point. Age is important. So, and plus, if you've been married before, so if I were to ever, heaven forbid, something happened with my marriage, let's say I got divorced, I'm a little older. I'm not going to put out any numbers, but I'm a little older. If I were to get married again, I would know exactly what I want and what I don't want. So the time frame might be less. So I feel you on that point. So age
yeah.
is a factor, and have you been
Let
married
me
before?
tell you, age is definitely a factor.
Age definitely. Then if you have children can make it go longer or shorter, actually. But yeah, if you got children, that's also a factor.
I think so. That's a good point too, guys. If you have any questions for our guest tonight, feel free to put those in. I want to say thank you to everyone for hopping on. Thank you for
Mhm.
tuning in. Please tag and share. We're continuing our conversation with couples. I always enjoy when the couples get to come and share about real
Mhm.
marriage situations. So
Mhm.
what's the toughest thing about being married? You think anyway?
Ooh, I don't. I mean, first of all, I don't think my wife is logging on tonight, so I'm good.
You remember last time I told you bring your wife because you were doing some big
Yeah,
time
no, we're
talking.
not gonna do that. The toughest thing about being married. Okay, that's tough because do you have children or no is the question because there's two different levels there. Because if you have children, that's a you add on a whole different set of circumstances. So I can give you pre-child and post-child. I would say pre-child, the toughest thing about being married for me was probably adjusting to each other's habits because you live together for a long time. You're going to be together. She was used to living by herself. I was used to living by herself. And now it's just like I come home every day and you there. Like you just always here. Like, why are you always here when I come home? Like, because you live here. So living together was tough,
Oh
especially
wow.
since you hadn't lived together before. And all of a sudden you move in, even if you only because we lived together about a year before we got married, which was good, but that still wasn't enough time because 1 year compared to I don't know the next 40 plus. But for me, that was hard. Having somebody in your life constantly on a different level that when you come home, you just can't do what you want to do. You have to be held accountable to another person who also needs some of your time. So that was hard for me. Instead of just being accountable to myself, being accountable to my partner, um, kind of adjusting to her needs, as her as well adjusting to my own. That's hard because people have different needs. You may want to go out, you can't go out. You may want to eat something different. They don't want to eat that. They may be dirty or nasty, and you like to clean. I'm not saying she dirty and nasty. I'm not saying that. Don't watch this girl.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm just saying,
you better hurry up and
I
correct
know,
that.
right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying, as a general example, for me, that is hard. Adjusting to somebody's personality and their needs and just having them there. That's hard. You have to learn to live with each other. Now, post children, it's the hardest thing is, parenting style. Everybody was raised different. Everybody wants to, our child is young, so we may have different ways of teaching or discipline, and they may clash.
Dante
But
is at work
yeah,
tonight.
and you gotta work together to do what's best. And there's no handbook on parenting. There's just not. You're never gonna get it right. There's never gonna be a right time to have children. You're never gonna have enough money. You're gonna have to deal with it. And so, the kids portion of it is hard. So post marriage, post kid, I would say kids and finances, and pre marriage, I would just say lifestyle, living with someone and meeting their needs and having your needs met too. That's hard. That's hard.
Oh wow. So that leads me to we have this debate here
Mhm.
at Single Saved and Dating. I always ask them, is love hard to find or is
Mm.
love hard to do? What's your thoughts on that?
Ooh, all right. So I'm from a different generation. So when I was thinking about finding love from when I was finding it, ooh, that's tough. I'm trying to compare it then and now. That's a tough one. Is love hard to find or love hard to do? I'd say love is hard to do. Love is hard to do. It's easier to find because nowadays you have everything at your fingertips. You can find somebody. When I was growing up, we didn't have Tinder and all the TikTok and stuff. I mean, we had it, but we didn't have it like that. So you could luck out. The probability of you lucking out and finding love was a little bit easier. So I'd say it's easier to find. But when you find that person, that is when the work kicks in. It's harder to do because meeting somebody else's individual needs at the same time taking care of your own needs, at the same time taking care of their needs, that is hard. That is hard. And you have to remind yourself daily, that almost daily, why you chose this person and why you love this person and why they love you. And you kind of have to keep that going. So I would say that love is harder to do, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too, brother. And even in your friendships,
Mhm.
they're just as challenging. Keeping those relationships up, keeping those, because if you don't invest time in any of your relationships, none of them are going to be like they could be if you was
Nope.
really investing into them. So,
Yeah.
what are some things that you and your wife do to keep that love going, to keep it
Mhm.
fresh, to keep it,
Mhm.
from as some people fall into complacency and be like,
Yeah.
well, I just
Yeah.
fell out of love.
Yeah. Well, we find things that we've always had in common, and whenever we lose our way, we tend to bond or reform around those things. So, for example, I love, love, love movies. She does too. So we made a commitment. Like every Saturday night is movie night, and we rarely miss it. So I'll come home Saturday night, 8 o'clock. She'll pick the next week. I'll pick. So we bond around those small moments. She love to eat. I mean, who doesn't? You got to feed a woman. They gonna love to eat. So she considers herself a foodie. So any the way to her heart is through her stomach. So I try to remember that. And you just find those little details that brought you together in the first place, and you hold on to that, and you keep reinventing it, and it reminds them of why you reminds you both of why you are together. It's not necessarily about, oh, I'm gonna get you these flowers on Valentine's Day. Doing that before I met you with another person. It's not about that. It's always the little things. Like sometimes I know that you gotta like preemptively strike. Like I know you've had a hard week, so let me clean the house and cook dinner most of the week. Or she knows that I'm busy, so hey, by the way, I did these things for you. Or when it's been a long time since we've reconnected, we'll find a babysitter and we'll have a night out. But that's what people do with it, when you're 35 plus. Now, if you're younger, you can get out. No kids, you can always get out there. You can always paint the town. You have less responsibilities. So always take time to do that, to show your wife a good time, to remind each other why you are together. But at my age, and I hate to keep using my age because now you're making me feel old. This beard is
Or if
killing me.
you feeling old, just imagine over here.
I know. But at this age, it's all about life. Life comes at you fast, especially with children. You got children, you got bills, you got work, you got everything. So the most important thing is to find ways to slow it down.
Mm.
Slow it down. Any moment that you can slow it down is good. In any small ways that you can slow it down is good. So
Kind of explain to us what you mean by like slow it down, find ways. I
sure.
I have to say this, especially since I don't want to talk about age. Why keep bringing up age? But anyway, it seemed
Because
like
everything is
time
relative. Everything relative.
because it
Yeah.
seemed like when you start moving up to the age, it's like it.
Hmm.
I be like, Lord, it's
Hmm.
February already, and I say it all the time here in Single
Hmm.
Saving Today. It's
Hmm.
this month is gone already.
Yep.
It seemed
It's-
like it really. I feel
mhm.
like, am I tripping or is it really speeding up? It felt like it's speeding up for me,
It feels like
brother.
it's speeding up. Yeah. Because you have more responsibility and accountability as you get older. So back in the
Tell me
day
that
when you
word.
had more time, you had more energy, more time to chill, more time to do this. Nowadays, I feel like if I've slept past like 8:30 or 9 o'clock, I've wasted like half a day. So what I mean by slowing it down is taking some of those responsibilities off your plate because as adults we are so responsible and we forget to give ourselves a break and that we know that every now and then we can take a little bit of a break. We can push this aside for a couple of hours because we're so good at handling our business, we can get back to it and catch up. So when I mean slow down, it's just like, you know what? for this night, for this week, for this whatever. Let's just slow it down. So for example, we're taking a trip in October, and it was hard for us to envision that we'd be free in October. But the truth is, we have so much time between now and October. Why can't we be free to take a trip? That's what I mean by slow it down. It's like, if you realistically think about it, at first you got to flip the model. At first you're thinking, oh, I can't go nowhere in October. I'm gonna have to work. I got school. I got kids. I got to do this. We got to do. We got to pay the mortgage. You're thinking about all those things. But in reality, slowing it down means, you know what? We will have time. It is February. It's so far ahead that we should be able to handle whatever it is we need to handle for October.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So, and we're so good at planning as adults. If you want to plan something for like her birthday is coming up in April, I can honestly say that I'm going to be busy as hell in April. She's going to be busy as hell in April. Our child might need something, but you know what? I have between now and April to figure it out. So let me slow it down, do what I need to do, make this a good experience for her and myself, and it will be fine. It will be fine. You're not, did you die today though? No, it's not gonna happen. So just slow it down. Every once in a while, we have the ability to do that because we're working, we're doing whatever. And we're so far ahead that when we want to slow down, we don't realize that we are so far ahead that it's okay every now and then to slow down. That's my definition of it.
I totally agree. I'm with you because I think like age once again is playing a big factor. Like I don't like sleeping past 8 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? I'm like I'm about because I get up at 8 now. I'm struggling trying to catch up with my plans for the day and my goals for the day and hitting those things for the day. So I like to get up early in the morning and get started and get going because it's I can sleep when I'm gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's how you feel. Yeah.
I can sleep when
I
I'm no
slept till
longer
like
here.
almost. I was tired. I slept till almost like 8:45 this morning, and I woke up. I was like, oh, I done wasted half the day. But it's a Saturday. I haven't wasted half the day, and look where I'm at. I'm at work today because I feel like I got work to do. So
I guess I'm gonna go back and say I guess it's the mindset that we have, and once again, it's our culture. We're living in a grind culture where everything is grind. You got to
yeah.
grind. You got to grind, and if we get caught up in that, then that can really cost us in our families and in our homes if we're just grinding all the time and we think we can't. Let me tell you something. If something happened to you today where you couldn't grind or you couldn't meet today's goals, life gonna go on anyway.
It's gonna go on.
It's gonna go on. So I say I have to agree with you. Take that time out to spend with those that is important because the older I get, the more I realize, and I'm as I'm watching loved ones transition to the other side, I'm realizing the only thing that was important was the relationships that they built, the love that they built. So, and I don't know about nobody else. I know when I transition to the other side, I want to have all my loved ones around me because the only thing I'm going to be able to take with me, I totally believe, is the love that I have in my heart. And I always say love is going to be there to greet me on the other side because God is love. And so I said the only thing that I can't take the house, I can't take the car. I'm not gonna be nobody's husband. Nobody's husband. I'm not gonna be nobody's wife. I'm not gonna be anybody's mother. None of those earthly things am I going to be able to take with me, no matter how hard. I've seen a lot of people transition who really didn't want to transition, but hey, when your time is up, your time is up. And so it really teach me like Renee, make the most of your time. Make the most. That's why I don't want to sleep all day. Make the most of your time. Make the most of what you have. Make the most of what you've been given because that is a gift to you. That's life itself. We say, well, I ain't got any gifts, so I want gifts, so I want, we going after this stuff, but we don't realize our very lives, the life that we have, that in itself is precious, and that in itself is a gift, and we don't know when that time is going to be, when I'm no longer here. And so
Yeah.
I want to make the most out of what I do have. So we
Yeah.
talked about, is love hard to do? Is love hard to find? And the brother agreed with me. I told, that's what I say all the time here. Love is hard to do.
Very
Love is hard to
hard.
do, because I like what he said too. You have to sacrifice.
Hmm.
You got to put somebody else's needs above yours. You got to go in there and be
Gotta go.
humble and apologize, even when you don't want
Apologize,
to
yeah,
apologize.
because it's not going to work unless when you compromise with somebody, you both come to the table. But when you compromise, you both have to be willing to give up a lot to make it work. Not just one person. You both are giving up something to make it work, and you don't want to be looking back and constantly feeling that you are giving up more than the other one, or that there's no reciprocity, because that's not going to work. Then you build resentment. If I feel like I'm doing more than you all the time, then you get resentment, and that's just not going to work. So the compromise means we're both willing to give up something equally as important or equally as much to make it work. That's why, you get biblical, you got to be equally yoked. And so, other than that, you want somebody that's willing to compromise, or just willing to come to the table and give up just as much as you are, and to make those things work. And I think that's important. Like I said, otherwise you just build that resentment. They got to share your values, and they got to share your values, and they got to add value to your life. And so that's what happened with me. But I think we've added value to both each other's lives. When you wake up one morning and you just ask yourself, have I changed for the worse or for the better since I've been with this person? And if you can say, yes, I have, then that's how you know it's, still going to keep going. And then you say, that has she changed, or he changed, or whoever changed since we've been together, for the better or for the worse? And if you say yes, then that's how you keep going. So there's a skit that I keep listening to by a comedian called Rodman. He said, how you make marriage work? He said, I don't know. You just keep going home. He said, just keep going
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
I'm there, you there, she there. Just keep going home. And I just laugh every time I hear that, because there's some truth in that. Because marriage is hard. Yeah.
I'm thank you, because that's what I try to do. That's the reason why I bring couples in,
Mm-hmm.
because I want us to be realistic about marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I've been married, so I already know it's hard. You ain't got to tell me.
Yeah.
I had already been married. I already know
Argue when
that.
you argue a lot, but
Yeah,
if you're not arguing, you ain't doing it right.
Why would you say if you're not arguing, you're not doing it right?
Because ain't nobody's perfect. There was only one perfect person to ever walk this earth, and it was not me, and it was not her. And nobody is perfect. You're never going to agree on anything. But
You're
when
never
you
going to
argue,
agree on anything.
no, you're never going to agree on everything. Nah, you can agree on a lot of things, but you're not supposed to, because if you agree on anything, how do you learn how to handle conflict and come to resolutions? You just can't do that. I didn't fall in love with somebody because they were perfect. I fell in with them because they were imperfect. That's if you get somebody when they're perfect, what can you build on that? You can't build anything on that. You can't see a person grow and evolve and change. They have to be, they have to have things. Everybody has things that they need to work on. And so, yeah, that arguing or disagreeing, the true test of your love or your marriage is how you come back from that. Do you have an argument about one thing, go to bed mad, and then the next morning you wake up and papers are on the table? Or do you have an argument, go to bed mad, don't speak for each other for a couple of days, and then next day you say, hey, you want to go out to eat? And then, yeah.
That sounds like something you might do, Dante.
Everybody, I'm gonna let you know that whole thing about, don't go to bed angry, man. That's some BS. You can go to bed angry. I don't care what book you read or anything you read and say, what you don't want to do is go to bed angry. Nah, I'm gonna go to bed holding this grudge.
No, I know you will. Like,
Oh yeah,
you
yeah,
been on
yeah.
here a couple
But
times, so
she does too.
I already know. I say I already know you will.
Yeah, you can go to bed angry. I'm petty. I'm not even gonna front.
I know you are, brother.
You don't know me, no, but I'm petty.
Look,
You don't know me.
know you like that, brother. But I can read people pretty good.
Yeah.
And you done been on here a couple times, so yeah.
I'm extremely petty.
Look,
but,
like I say to my kids on the bus, I work with children. I period on that, brother.
Petty. Yeah.
But I want to say, because I'm older, I'm gonna say don't go to bed angry. Don't go to bed angry. And I'm gonna tell you why I don't go to bed angry. First of all, the scriptures say, don't let the sun go down on your wrath.
Right.
And the reason for that, because I don't know if I'm gonna get up tomorrow.
Mhm.
Having lupus,
Mhm.
autoimmune disease, constantly reminds me of my humanity. Humanity. Like, I don't know when
Mhm.
this might be my last day. I don't,
Mhm.
I don't know if this might be my last journey. And so I say I have to agree with the word in the scripture where it say,
Mhm.
"Don't go to bed angry. Don't let that sun go down on your wrath," because I don't want to, first of all, leave
Mhm.
in that state. You know what I'm saying? And what if that's the last thing I get to say to my children or to my daughter or to my spouse?
Well, not to my children. Never. I'll never go to bed angry with my children. But
Well,
what do
honey,
you what do you
well,
do?
how
What
how old are you? How old are your children?
I have one. He's 6.
Okay,
So
you
I
ain't got
don't.
there yet, brother.
Yeah, I know I ain't
Trust
got
me,
there
you,
yet. I
you
ain't
ain't
got there
got
yet.
there
But
yet, brother.
he's definitely a challenge. But
He's only 6. You wait till you get to them teenage years,
yeah,
okay,
he's
and then to it
struggling.
as an
We're
adult.
struggling. But
What I'm
what do you
saying as an
define as
adult.
going to bed angry though? Because I can go to bed and still be mad at you. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean I'm not gonna, cuddle you. You know I don't like cuddling, but that's a different story. I
See, he don't.
still
No,
cuddle.
Dante, what is wrong with
Cuddling is, there's a story behind it. I don't like it. It's
you?
just I
Okay.
don't like it. I like cuddling on the couch or whatever, but in bed I like to sleep certain ways. And if y'all can ever learn to stop
This
stealing
this
covers or
this
putting
is
your cold
this
feet on
this
people, we wouldn't have no problems.
this
But
this is the man that don't eat grits and collard greens. Okay, y'all just
first of all,
y'all
you're
keep
welcome. Second of all,
that y'all keep that in mind. Okay, this is the
Mhm.
brother that don't eat grits and collard greens.
Yeah, do
But you
better.
got a point there. We will put now. I ain't lying about that. That's one of the things I do miss about being married. My feet cold. I guess I had to get my. I got a heating pad.
Hmm.
I just wrap it up in the heating pad, brother. Because when I was married, that was the heating pad. That's what I'm over there. But so that's a true statement. Let's look
Hmm.
at guys. If you have any questions or comments, we're taking questions tonight. Well, if one of the disagree, we disagree. Why to be on the page so we can both agree on the same thing? Because in my marriage, we both have to agree on the same thing, so there is no confusion or conflict. I hear you, Lily. Lily is going to actually be on next Saturday, right? Lily
I'll have to
with
watch
us. She's going to be our guest next Saturday. So, guys, if you have any questions or comments please share them with us tonight. We're taking those and we're open to that. But I have to say, like I said, I don't know when it's going to be my last day. I don't know what's going to be
it.
my last day. I'm constantly reminded of that. And so I definitely don't want to go to sleep angry with anyone. And
Mhm.
two, I'm the type of person I feel like it's a cloud over my head. And I don't like walking around with clouds over my head. If I have
Mhm.
an issue, I take the scriptures literally and I try to implement them into my life and walk them out. As do I do it as Shantae be
Mhm.
saying without mistakes? Do I hit the mark all
Mhm.
the time? Absolutely not. But I practice. I try to practice what I preach or what I share.
Mhm.
Um, it says just don't let that sun go down on your wrath, and so that's what I try not to do because I don't know, like I said, if I'm going to wait tomorrow or not, and I want to make the most out of what I have left. And I want to love like I've never been hurt. And I want the people around me to know that I love them without a shadow of a doubt. And I was
Mhm.
going to say something else, but I done lost that train of thought.
But you're
Uh,
talking about wrath, though. I'm not gonna hit her upside the head when she's asleep.
now,
But
I'm not talking about that.
I don't go to bed like that. If we
That
we can agree, we had an argument recently. If we can agree to disagree, and then we just people go to bed, we a little salty about it. But then
a
she,
little salty.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. I
Oh,
mean,
I know
that's
you.
not
Oh,
that's
I
not
know you will,
wrath.
Dante.
That's
I
not
know you
wrath.
will.
That's just unsettled. It would be
Uh,
different if I left the house and walked out or whatever. We're just talking about, all right, well, we didn't solve this. What you want for dinner? I
oh,
don't know.
that's
And then,
another thing. That's
yeah.
another thing. That's what I was about to say. Thank you for saying that.
Hmm.
I don't like to walk around like I like to if there's a disagreement, the word says
Hmm.
settle those disagreements. And it goes back to like what you were saying too. That don't mean we when selling it don't mean we're gonna agree. It just means I'm gonna let it go, you're gonna let it go, and it is what it is. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah, it
saying?
is what it is.
But and I don't like walking around with that type of feeling with me all day. First of all, I'm not going to give nobody that type of power over me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I am in control of me all the time. I can't control you, whoever, my spouse may be, or my children. I can't control them, but I am in control of me, because self-control is one of the fruits of the spirit. And so I can tap into that anytime I get good and ready, because it's without any limitations. And I can go as deep in that thing as I choose to. But once again, we're the one put the limitations on. Okay, I'm only going to go this far with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm stopping right here with you, brother. But actually, I can go further. I can go a little further. I can go a little deeper. And so we the one put the limitations. We the one put the brakes on it. So I don't have to be. If the word says, offense will come, but don't take it up. So, God taught me that a long time ago. Like, you're going to have plenty of opportunities to be offended, Renee, but it's your choice to pick that up and be offended. And so I just shut the door on offense. I was like, no, you can't offend me, brother. If you want to offend me, you're going to have a hard time. You're going to get mad trying to offend me, because I'm going to let that go right over my head, because I'm in control of what I think and what I do. And I just rather walk, like I said, I don't know how long I'll be here. I'm on whatever. I'm so determined to use what I got left. I've used so much of my time. See, when you start getting older, you start looking back. I use so much of my time doing stupid stuff, nonsense stuff that we're gonna hit this, because you talked about this too. Stuff that's not building, stuff that didn't come to nothing. I'm not finna waste these precious years that I got, because I understand I done spent more than I probably got left. And I ain't being negative. I'm just speaking honestly, the truth. And I want to spend what I have left bringing glory to God. I'm not going to walk no other way contrary to that at this point. So I want to go back to what you were saying. You said we're not building anything. Right. So in a relationship, I think I made a post about this, because the spirit did show me that you want to pick somebody that is a builder already.
Exactly.
And somebody that wants to build with you. Now, see, somebody, if they're a builder, that's cool. But do they want to build with you? That's a whole different thing. So you want to pick somebody that is a builder and that wants to build with you. Kind of go back and backtrack on that and expand on that a little bit, because
that's important. When we first started dating, we got to that conversation about her exes and all that, for example, and she said a lot of her relationships did not work because every person she had been with always said that she was, quote unquote, doing too much, from because she's ambitious, and she never understood what that means. And I didn't either. I was like, what does that mean? She said, oh no, they just always said I was doing too much. And I was like, well, what were you doing? She says, well, I was doing this and trying to get a promotion and doing this and getting this. And she's still the same way. And I was like, oh, and so were they insecure, or they just thought you were just doing too much? So she definitely likes to build. And I'm pretty chill around things. And if anything, she has also inspired me to build. And she has also helped me to build, and as well as I have helped her. So if I showed her that I was capable of handling that, and I was supportive of that, not hating on it or being insecure about it, then it worked. And then not only that, but I bought into it, and it inspired me to do things. So she was getting a PMP certification for project management. She was, moving up in the corporate ladder. Then she wanted a master's and other bachelor's. So she was always doing something. And I remember it came to the point where it sparked me. I saw she got a better job and everything. And then I was like, well, I want a master's because you got a good job. So I decided I wanted to get a master's. And so, but she inspired me to get a master's. But not only that, she saw the work that I had put in to support her.
Oh, wow.
And so when it came my turn, or when I told her or expressed to her how I felt, she was like, yeah, let's do it. And she supported me in return. Wow. Then we moved out here because, again, her doing something else. She got a really, really good job out here working for Amazon. Web services, not the regular Amazon. But anyway, long story short, it was a really good job, but it required us to move across country with a 9-month-old, live in a hotel for like 5 weeks until the house was ready. And then I was going through some kidney issues and some disease issues at the time. But, it was a good opportunity for her and a way to make money. And so we sold the house, moved, and I supported her through all of that. because it was a good opportunity. And I recognize that sometimes what's a good opportunity for your spouse is also good for your family. And it's a
Wow.
we thing. We're in it together. So if a rising tide raises all ships. Everybody's heard that. And so we did that. And then I built a career out here for myself. And then I got the opportunity to get a good job, which I did. And so we were doing well. And then she supported me again because we had a choice to move back. But I had an opportunity out here to get an even better job and to start school pursuing my PhD. And so I talked to her about it. And so she supported me. So she was willing to help me build as I was willing to help her build. And so she gave up coming back to North Carolina. Give me like 5 years, y'all. I'll be back. But anyway, she gave up wanting to do that because she doesn't like it here. But she gave up wanting to do that because she knows that I supported her in her endeavors. So it's a
Wow.
mutual thing. We're building together because she knows, just as I knew, that what she was doing was going to pay off and benefit the family. And just like she knows now that what I'm doing is going to benefit the family as well. So, you find somebody who's who loves to build, who's also, like you said, willing to build with you. And if you can support them, then they will support you. Now, the problem is if you turn around and you've been supporting, and I will admit this happens more with women than it does with the fellas. When it comes time for you to get support, if they don't want to support you, then that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, women will help the fellas build, and then they turn around and they want to get some help, and we may not help them. I'm just saying. So you do want to find somebody who's not only willing to build, but willing to help you build, and like you said, also build with you. And that just takes recognizing that what you are doing is beneficial for everybody.
That's awesome. I love that because especially when I'm listening to you talk, it's triggering so many thoughts in my head
Mm.
with my young sisters today. Sisters are changing now. And sisters ain't about that taking care of no man no more.
No, they're not doing that no more. And that's why they're not doing it no more, because back then we didn't want to help them build.
Yeah.
We didn't want to help them
Thank
build.
you for
We
saying
wanted
that.
them to help us build, but we didn't want to help them build. So
Thank you for saying that. You're the first man that really. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. That's the reason why they fed up. You know what I'm saying? They's like, no, you're gonna have to come. Let me tell you where they are now. That when I work with them, they this is how they are now. You're gonna have to come with yourself together, physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially, or I'm not dealing with you.
Yeah.
And so I can say we can go from one extreme to the other, because as I'm listening to you, when you were saying there was times that your wife had supported you while
Right.
you did things that you need to do, but then there was times that you supported your wife so that she could step up and do the things that she
Right.
wanted to do. And
You
so
have to
it's
ask
like,
now. You have to make your position known, because sometimes they could be doing too much and they don't know what you want. Never be afraid to ask for what you want, but you have to be able to communicate and let her know or let them know and say, hey, I really want to do this. This is my plan. Can you help me? And ask. You know what I'm saying? You had to let them know. You know what I'm saying? It works both ways. I had a conversation with her. I set her down. I had a plan. This is my plan. This is what I would like to do. What do you say? And then she had the instinct to remember, oh, okay, you did this for me. You know what I'm saying? So we can make it work. It wasn't all flowers and sunshines and roses or whatever, but it took a lot of prayer, took a lot of things, but we're doing what we have to do. And we always use the royal we excuse, like, oh, it's the royal we, this is ours, So yeah.
you said something important, and I gotta back you up. You said I had a plan. And that's one of the things you saying. A lot of things that when I'm talking to my young girls, that's triggering. That's what they say. They meet these dudes and they ain't got no plan. They say, Renee, it ain't that I don't mind supporting or helping build. What I'm gonna help him build? Nay, he don't have a plan.
Like,
he
what's
ain't
your
come with a
plan?
plan.
Yeah. It can be
Okay.
whatever. You can do whatever you want. I mean, it may be a dumb plan, but as long as you got a well thought out plan. I have a younger brother, and I think he wanted to stop going to school. And my mother didn't like it. He's like 25. And I said, well, that's his decision. I said, I don't care if you don't want to go to school. You can do fine not getting a college degree or whatever, but what's your plan? I just want to know what your plan is. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. I'm not going to judge you for not doing this. And he told me what his plan was. And I said, okay, that's okay. As long as you have a plan, you're just not out here floating. So approach, and in most cases, a good partner can help you along that plan or help you redo the plan, or he or she may see opportunities to change the plan or to upgrade the plan a little bit if you're open to it. You know what I'm saying? I come to her with a plan. That's good, but you could also do this or do this, and then this will put you here. Oh, you know what? I never thought about that. That's a good idea. So be open-minded with your plan. But you're right. You gotta have a plan. What's
Now,
your
see, this is why I like the brother. We bump heads, but I like him because you said something so important. You said, and this is tough to do in relationships, by the way.
It is.
Because I can come in there. I know when I was married, my husband would say, I would say, hey, honey, we're gonna do blah blah blah, and he later admitted, a long time ago, that he would say no just because I came up with it first.
Just to be spiteful.
Yeah, just to be spiteful. He would say no just because, and the family would suffer for a week or so. And then he'll come back and say, hey, let's do so and so and so. And I was like, you know what? I said that about 2 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? So it goes back to what you were saying. You gotta be, how can you, I like the fact, this is why I say I like you. You were open to allowing your wife to be that blessing to you. You was open to allowing her to say, hey, honey, if you do it like this, then you could get here faster. But I'm finding a lot of people, a lot of brothers ain't open. They see that as an attack, or speak on that a little bit. They not open to you coming up. Brothers ain't open.
Yeah. Women do that too, though. So that's a both ways thing. I just want to put that out there. But I feel what you're saying. For me, it's about thinking steps ahead. It's not about thinking who's leading or who's following. It's you need to think ahead, like, how can this benefit me in the long run? Like, you want to do this, you want to do that, while I'm not doing nothing and trying to get my stuff together, but you already got it together. You're doing this, that, and the third, and we're together. I'm not going to say no just because I want to be in control. I'm just going to think, well, how is this going to benefit me as well? So, I met her. I was trying to, get in her good graces or whatever. I remember one time we went shopping because she was picking on my wardrobe, and I was like, she don't know nothing. And this true story. I remember I spent like a lot of money in Express back in the mall in Crabtree, right? And I was like, man, this is ridiculous. I don't like her that much. You know what I'm saying? But next thing I know, I started wearing this new wardrobe, right? I started getting all these compliments from other women. I was like, shit. And then you start to think, well, she upgraded me a little bit. Now, I'm not saying most brothers, some people, male or female, or women or men or whoever, they'll take those compliments, start feeling themselves, and they'll go off and try to find something else. Like, I'm feeling myself now. I can do better than you. Yeah. But I was thinking, you know what? Point. She done upgraded my wardrobe. I'm feeling a little more confident. Let me go back and tap the well a little bit more and see what, and just be open to some ideas. And that's what I did, because I got upgraded. That's don't let me upgrade you. That kind of happened. And like, I didn't want to move out to Seattle. I didn't want to move here. But I thought about some instances in the past, and there was a pattern of every time she would follow me or every time I would follow her, one of us would end up upgrading somehow.
Oh, wow.
And so I didn't want to move out here, but I followed her and I supported her. And, moves have happened. We were financially stable. We both have good jobs and careers. We have investments now. I mean, we own stock in we own percentage of a bakery in Nightendale. Wow. Cake Town Bakery. Y'all go check it out. But anyway, it's like little things that that we do, and it's like every time we pray on it and we're open-minded and we're ready to receive what God has for us. And then you put your own ego aside, just think a couple steps ahead. I know I don't like this because I want to be in charge, but how can this benefit me now? How can this benefit me in the future? Is it going to be so wrong to say, okay, you're right, let me change the plan a little bit? It's not going to hurt. Now, the problem is if I do that and then I turn around and I have a plan, or she has a plan, and I want to give her advice, it's got to be some reciprocity.
Yeah.
Got to support each other. You know what I'm saying? Like little things like that.
Yeah.
If you're willing to let her or him upgrade you, then
that's good.
Favor. You know what I'm saying? You don't want it to be one way. That's all.
I like that. I like that.
Just think about how it could benefit you, Don't take what you need and then the grass is greener on the other side.
I like that.
See what else you can build together. See what else you can build together, because there's always going to be somebody else that you think you can get that's better. You know what I'm saying? So don't use that mentality. Just build the best that you can with the one that you are with, and
Ooh, I
agree
love
on
it.
it, and see how far you can go.
Yeah, I love that. What would you say to the ladies? Because you might be giving me some advice. What would you say to the ladies that you trying to go in there and you
Uh-huh.
working, you want trying to upgrade, but the
Mhm.
brother just ain't open to it? What would you say to the ladies?
Oh, that's tough. I'm not in a position to give advice to the ladies. If you're dealing with somebody and they not, ask them. I like how we had the conversation about what their plan is. Ask them what their plan is. Like, what's your plan? If you can't, ask them a couple times now. That way you can say, you're giving them time. Ask them what their plan is, and give them an ultimatum. They work for me, but give them an ultimatum. Ask them what their plan is. If the plan ain't popping, ask how you can work on the plan together. If that doesn't work, then you might have to move on. I hate to say it. You can be friends, whatever. And I would always say set expectations from the jump. I saw somebody with a comment about how you're 40 plus, dating is more intentional. I think that's important. Like, what you want from the beginning. These are my expectations. This is what I like. This is what I would want. What do you like? What do you want? And see if they mesh up. That's what I would say.
Definitely.
Ask them about the plan. See if the plan is reworkable together. If it's not, then you can be friends.
That's good. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's real good. We might guys, if you have any questions, we're at 7:57. We had the brother for an hour. I want to say thank you for everyone for hopping on. Thank you for tuning in. It's really good. I can I say this? It seems like, don't take it the wrong way, please.
You good?
Take it from.
Here we go.
No, I'm not gonna start
You have
nothing
to
tonight.
qualify it before you say it. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna start nothing tonight. I'm telling you. I see growth in you from the last time you was on. There's been some real changes. There's been some real growth in you from the last time you've been on. I do. I see it. I hear it. And I always like seeing. I know y'all. I trip with my brothers, but I love my brothers, man. I do. I go hard for my brothers. I love my brothers. Sometimes my sisters say I be caping too much for the brothers. I be caping too hard for the brothers, but I don't think so.
We'll take it. And I appreciate the love and support. Yeah.
Yeah, I love supporting my brothers.
Never cape for hard to each other. We never can't cape hard enough each other. I don't know if that sounded correctly, but it's okay as a people, we should do that more for each other. Put it that way.
Yeah, I absolutely appreciate you. Everything, this has been so good. I have to agree with you on a lot of things. He has told us we need to look for somebody. We can be intentional with each other. He said, looking for somebody to build, look for somebody with a plan, or y'all up. And I like this. I have to mention this because I've been writing stuff down that you've been saying. Because I'm totally agree with this is so important. We're gonna have to back. We just got a few minutes. We're gonna have to back real quick. You said something, I forgot to bring it back up. You said, and I think about this when you're dating as well. Are y'all upgrading each other? I thought that was powerful when you said, when you get together, you're married, you're upgrading each other. Or you should be upgrading each other. Go back a little bit and kind of. We just got a couple minutes. I want you to talk a little bit more about that because that's so important. Like I hadn't even thought about that. Like, are we up? You can even kind of
upgrading. Yeah. Is this person adding value to your life in any way? And are you adding value to theirs? You have to be able to build together. That's all. I mean, it's just that simple. If they are doing something, can you support them in the way that they can support you? And if helping them is going to help you get to where you need to be, then you should do it. It's just that simple to me. So are they adding value to your life? I would say. Are you equally yoked? Are they adding value to your life? Are you adding value to theirs? It has to be two-way, both ways. And I think that, despite the arguments and the whatever you may have, the going to bed angry or wrathful, which is two different things, by the way. That's two different things.
I know.
I didn't say wrathful. I know the scripture, but aside from all of that, at the end of the day.
Let me say petty then. Don't go to bed petty.
Yeah, don't go. I don't know about that. Let's not go too far. But I'm just saying. I'm just saying, are you upgrading each other? You know, I can look back on instances in our marriage and when we've come a long way as a couple from dating. She always says, I want to be a power couple. And I was just like, but are we building towards that? You know, can me helping her get to where I need to be as well? And if you find that person that y'all just clicking like that, keep it going. Keep it going.
I love that. I love
And maybe
that.
not going to bed petty, but you can like nap petty. I don't know. You can just
How about just not be petty at all,
get your
Dante?
point across. You got to get your point across.
Let me help you. Let me help your wife out tonight. How about just not be petty at all? Okay. Next time we come back, you're gonna be done grow. You're gonna be like, guess what, Sister Renee? I'm not even petty anymore. And we just gonna throw a big old party right here online. look, we're gonna throw Dante, we're gonna throw a big old party right here online. I'm gonna have balloons and confetti and everything. Look at him. Look at his face, y'all.
I can dial it back a little bit. Y'all can dial it back.
I appreciate you. That was so good because, I was writing that down. So, ladies, he said, find somebody that got a plan. Ask them what their plan is a couple of times. Are you guys upgrading each other? I'm going to even add this from what he was saying because I see that. Will that brother be open to receiving from you? I think that's important.
Yeah.
What you think, Dante?
I think it's important. I treat it like a paper. You get the rough draft, but you handed it in for a grade, but it's a rough draft, just look it over. That's my plan. Look it over. See if it works. Make a couple edits. Are you open to receiving feedback on your plan? If you're not, first of all, you got to have one. But let them work. But ladies, let them work on it a little bit if they don't have it at first. But if they ain't doing nothing, if they're not working on the plan, fellas, let her work on the plan too. Let's make it equal. Let's make it equitable. Let her work on her plan, but they should be open to receiving feedback on the plan, at least.
What if you're dating somebody and they're not? Would you say cut it off or what?
Say what now?
What if you're dating somebody and they're not? Do you say that's the end or what? Y'all, we not compatible.
No, you always give them time. You don't want to block your blessings. But if I'm giving like how long you've been working on this plan, I mean it's been 2.5 years. You don't, it don't take 2.5 years to work on a plan. Like where are we going? I remember when I was dating back in the day. I used to hate that conversation when I was talking to a girl or dating a woman, and she would be like, so where's this going? And all the fellas know what that means. And the first thing you do is roll your eyes, like, where's this going? Where are we? And I hated that, but I was young. But as I got older, I can answer that question now. So, and the sooner you learn to answer that question, whether you are the woman or the man in the relationship or whatever, the better off you are. It's just, you got to flip your mindset. You want to get it done as early as you can so you can enjoy a life comfortably when you're 40 plus or whatever. So
I love that. I love that because I see a lot of older couples. You can see like the pride they have, like, baby, we stuck it out. I mean, it's just like a glow. It's just like I can't even explain it, but you can see it, you can feel it, like how they like, we made it. You know what I'm saying? We stuck it out. We had some hard times, we had some rough times, but look, we still together, we still love each other, we still enjoy each other's company. And I just think that's a beautiful thing to watch. Well, so once again, guys, thank you for hopping on. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to tonight's guest. Thank you, Dante. This has been good. It's been great. Thank you for taking time out of your work. Yeah. I do appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
I appreciate you having me. Next time bring Jonathan up here. I ain't seen him in a while.
Okay.
That's my guy right there. That's my guy.
Jonathan, you hear that? Next time you it's gonna be you. I'm gonna let it be you and him.
I need backup. He knows. He ain't recognize game. He knows.
But you know what, Dante? We did good tonight.
We did. I really appreciate you having me. Yeah.
Yeah, we did good. So I want to say thank you guys for hopping on. Yeah, next time it's gonna be you and him, Jonathan. Thank you guys for hopping on. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your comments. I'm just going to go ahead and pray us off. Dante, I'm going to let you, if you have any last words that you like to share with anyone with us tonight, words of wisdom.
I'm good. I thank you for having me, and I feel really blessed. And I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend as well.
Thank you, Dante. Appreciate you, brother. Love you, brother.
All right. I love y'all. Y'all can do about it.
I love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it, brother. Love you. I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, I had tried to get Erica to be on here with us tonight because we would have had a good time.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. So guys, I'm gonna go ahead and pray us
Mhm.
out. Father, we just thank you for this opportunity just to come together and fellowship with each other, Lord. We thank you for our guest tonight. We ask that you bless him and his family and their plan. And it just sounds like they're doing awesome. I feel good, and I don't really know them like that, but I'm happy for them. I really am. Thank you, Lord, for just blessing them in abundance. Thank you for the plan that they have, and you're blessing the works of their hands, and you're blessing their children. I finna say children, but don't they say he ain't got but one? Maybe he gonna have some more. Thank you. Thank you, Lord, for blessing his son, Lord, and being over him and watching and protecting him. Thank you, Lord. We lift up Jonathan and Erica and Mike and all and Regina and all those under the sound of our voice. We thank you for tonight, for tonight's fellowship as we leave this live, but never your presence, Lord. We thank you for what you're doing in each and every one of our lives. In your dear son name, we pray and thank you, Lord. Amen and
Amen.
amen.
All
Thank
right.
you guys for hopping on. Thank you for tuning in. As always, we love you. Be blessed. Good night.
Good night.
Dante, have an awesome night at work.
Thanks.
Good
Working on the
night.
plan now. Working on my plan.
Working on that plan, brother. Work that plan.
Gotta
Good
run.
night.
Good night.